All right, let's talk about time value. There are symbols in music that we use to decode our notes, or we call them musical notes. Now, these musical notes are symbols that we use in music. Now, for clarification's sake, the British call it a particular name, while the Americans call it another name. So I'm going to outline them so that you can get the names they are called. Now, the British call the round notes or the oval shape as semibrief. Semibrief. The round shape or the oval with its stem is called half notes. The shaded oval shape with its stem is called a crotchet. And while a round shaded oval shape with a stem and a flag is called a quiver. So again, you have the semibrief, you have the minim, you have the crotchet, and you have the quiver. The other names is being called by Americans is whole notes for the oval shape, half notes for the oval shape with a stem, quarter notes for the shaded oval shape with a stem. The last one is the eighth notes, and that's the oval shape with a stem and the flag with a shaded head. So in summary, the British and Americans have different names to these notes, but they are referred to the same notes and time value. Hope you understand it. Just as we have the musical notes, we also have the musical rests. The musical rests are also of the equal value as of the musical notes. You remember, just like the day-to-day activity, we have time where we are active and the time where we rest. So also in music, there's time to make sound and there's time to pause. So all of these have equal values. For instance, you have the semi-brief notes. Also, we have semi-brief rest. We have minim notes. We have minim rest. We have crotchet notes, crotchet rest, quiver notes, quiver rest. But at this point, what is most important is for you to know the shape and how they are being placed on the staff. Now, for semi-brief rest, you have the horizontal line and the facing down like a cap or a hat, right? That's for a semi-brief rest. While minim rest has a line and the cap on top, so it's opposite to each other. While a crotchet rest, is two of them anyway. You have one with inverted Z, just like your less than, two less than joined together, or an inverted Y, as you can see on the screen. So also you have the quiver rest. The quiver rest is just like your Y, but tilted. So you have to know the difference through the shape of the four of them. Let's talk about simple time signature. Time signature in music are two figures we use to decode the timing of music. Now, every music you listen to has time signature, regardless whether classical music, pop music, gospel music, you can name them. All music have time signature. Now, we want to talk about the simple time signature. We have the 2/4 time signature, the 3/4 time signature, and the 4/4 time signature. Now, how do we decode this? When you have 2/4 time signature written before the music, it means that there must be 2 quarter notes in every measure. The 4 under represent what we call quarter notes you learned the other time, or the crotchet. So this 4 is representing a crotchet or quarter note. Why these two tells you that you must have two of quarter notes in every measure. So if you look at this music, this rhythm already, you have two crotchets. This is a crotchet and two quaver. Two quaver equals to a crotchet, you remember that. So the crotchet here, this gives you a crotchet, making two crotchets. This is a minim which already has two crotchets in them. So if you check the rhythm, you have 1, 1, or you say 1, 2. But this is 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. That's the time signature for the 2, 4. Let's talk about 3, 4 time signature. 3, 4 time signature means that you must have 3 quarter notes or 3 crotchets in every bar. Now in this bar, for instance, this is a minim, which in it you have 2 crotchets. And these are 2 quavers giving you a crotchet. So you have these 2 quavers to give you a crotchet. So minim, in there you have 2 crotchets, and then here you have 1 crotchet. 2 plus 1 will give you 3. Here you have 3 crotchets. 1, 2, 3. And then here is a minim and a crotchet. In here you have a 2 crotchets plus 1 crotchet. That's 3 crotchets there. Then here you have a dotted minim. Now when you have a dotted minim, how do you express this? Now a dot placed before a note actually gives you, it's increased the note by half. So minim already is a 2 counts, and the dot is a half of the minim, which half of a minim is a crotchet. So 2 plus 1 crotchet gives you 3 crotchets, and that's what you have here. So a dotted minim means 3 counts. So here you have 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I guess that is clear. Now let's move on to 4, 4 time signature. 4, 4 time signature also does the same thing. The 4, the denominator, is actually your quarter note or your crotchet. Now the 4 above it tells you that you must have 4 crotchets in each bar. So here you have 1, 2, then here you have 1, here you have 1. This is 1, 2, this is 1, 2. Now this is 1, 2, 3. Here is 1, and here you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you have to play this rhythm, for instance, you're going to have 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can also play them together in 1 to 4. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess this is clear enough. So don't forget that your denominator, which is the notes below, gives you the value of the notes, which is a crotchet or your quarter note, while the top figure tells you how many of the crotchets you have in the music. I hope that is clear enough. Let's learn about dotted notes. Earlier we have had a glimpse of how to approach a dotted note. Now here you have more opportunity to learn that. Here you have a dotted semibreve, and then remember I said a dot in front of a note actually extend the note by half or add half to the original note. So for instance, here you have your your semibreve, then the dot is actually half of the semibreve, which is your minim. So this gives you 4 plus 2, and that gives you 6, right? Also here you have a minim plus half of a minim is a crotchet. 2 plus 1 gives you 3. Here you have a crotchet. Half of a crotchet is a quaver. a crochet plus a quiver, 1 plus half will give you 1.5, right? It's as simple as that. So anytime you see a dot in front of a note, you just know that it is 1.5 of that note, or it increases it by half, right? Cool. Now let's move to tied notes. Sometimes composers love to have tied notes instead of having dotted notes. Sometimes they want to tie the notes. So when you see a tied note like this, just add them. So here you have 4, a semi-brief, which is 4 counts, plus 2, that gives you 6. This is 2 plus 1 gives you 3. 1 plus half gives you 1.5. Note that also that in performance, this is meant to be placed straight up to this value, right? You are not allowed, the essence of the tied note is to join together the two notes to sound as one or of a straight sound. So 4 plus 2 will give you 6. You sound 6 straight away. Then this is 2 plus 1, sound 3 straight away. While this is 1 plus half, gives you 1.5. I guess that is clear. Now let's talk about ledger lines. Ledger lines are extra lines that are not part of the 5 lines and 4 spaces. They are extra lines above or below the staff. Now also, these ledger lines have their names too. Now, we have already established that the lines of the treble clef are every good boy does fine, E, G, B, D, F. So if this is E, we can step down, the space will give you D, and then step down, while this line will give you C. Remember the other time we said this is your middle C already. Now, the same middle C can be for the bass clef. The bass clef, here you have G, B, D, F, A. After A, the space is B, and the ledger line is C. So, this ledger line and this ledger line are same notes. They are same notes because, remember in the grand staff, we said the middle C is intermediary between the treble clef and the bass clef. So the middle C is below the treble clef or above the treble clef, right? Now, let's see ledger line above the treble clef. Now, how do we name this? Remember, you have E, G, B, D, F. The space will give you G, and the ledger line will now give you A. So this ledger line is A. Now, also, for the bass clef, ledger line below the bass clef, always establish the notes of the staff. So here you have G, B, D, F, A. Now, before G is your F, and before F is your E. So this is E. The ledger line below bass clef is E. Please note that it is not all ledger line that will give you C. And that is why it is very important for you to count the ledger lines, the letter names of the staff for you to arrive at the letter. But your ledger line below the treble clef, the ledger line above the bass clef can give the one ledger line of that can give you middle C. But the ledger line above the treble clef will give you A. The ledger line below the bass clef will give you your E, right? Good. Now, let's talk about notes on the staff. It is assumed that you may want to write your music by yourself, and it's very important you follow rules. The rules of writing music says notes below the middle line or the third line must have their stem up. Notes below the middle line or notes before the third line have their stems up, while the notes above the third line have their stems down. So all notes above the third line have their stems down, while the notes below the third line have their stems up. The question will now be, what about the notes on the third line? The notes on the third line can be either ways. It can be either up or down. You can make it either up or down. So when you have notes before the third line, the stem will be up, while the notes above the third line will have their stems down. And on the third line, it can be either up or down. Now, the next question is about the quaver notes. The quaver notes the quaver note has a flag, right? Now, for the flag, it is very important to know that regardless of where the stems are, whether up or down, the flag must be on the right, must keep on the right. So you look at this note is above the third line, the stem down, the flag is on the right. Note on the third line, the stem is up, flag on the right. Note on the third line, stem down, flag on the right. Note below the third line, stem up, flag on the right. While the ledger lines with a quaver still have the stem on the right. So it's very important for you to know that regardless of where the note is placed, the stem can either be up or down, but the flag must keep on the right. Great job. I'm sure you are following. Please ensure you attempt the exercises at the end of this video for you to confirm the level of your knowledge. Great job. Well done.